Quantum jumping may sound like a difficult concept, but it's actually quite easy to do. This is the process by which a person visualizes a desired result or state of being that is different from what is current, and then by supplying enough mental and emotional energy and clearly tuning into that possibility, they make a leap into that hidden dimension or alternate reality. The success of most all law of attraction techniques and visualization techniques can be attributed to quantum jumping, or what may be better termed as multidimensional awareness. Consciousness changes, and then reality follows suit. There's an infinite number of realities that exist around us if we use the right techniques, energy, and methods to tune into that. Going from where you are to where you want to be is all in your mind and perception. With quantum jumping, your atoms don't disperse and then reorganize themselves in a dramatic display. Nothing happens out there. It's just that our reality simply adjusts to our inner workings. Although our awareness of who we are will generally align with one reality, quantum jumping can be made through a kind of contact with an alternate version of ourselves through time and space. You can enter a parallel universe which has already formed different events, identities, and relationships. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a few minutes. First, let's discuss the Mandela Effect for a better understanding of multidimensional awareness. If you know anything about the Mandela Effect, which refers to a large number of people sharing a specific memory that doesn't match current reality and is often attributed to the existence of parallel universes, it seems relevant to mention a few examples. Obviously, the first example is Nelson Mandela, who this theory is named after. Countless people remember him dying in prison in the 1980s, but he was actually released from prison and later died in 2013. This contradicts what many people believe to be true. On the lighter side of this theory, which one of these do you remember? Apparently, there is not a Jiffy peanut butter, but again, a large number of people would disagree. Here's a question for you. If someone asked you to describe the color chartreuse, which of these would you pick? If you're like me, the color on the right most closely resembles this. But in this reality, much to my own surprise, it's actually a green. A large number of people remember Billy Graham's funeral airing on television prior to his actual death in 2018. David Soul, an actor from the television show Starsky and Hutch, was remembered as passing away years ago by many people. But as of the publishing of this video, he is still alive and well. As stated in an article on howstuffworks.com, which I've left a link to in my description, Broom's theory states that at all times there are multiple realities of each universe, the multiverse, and that within each universe there are variations of objects, events, and people. So, memories of those incorrect shared moments are not really false. They are just instances where parallel universes cross paths for an instant. This article also states that human memory is notoriously unreliable, which is the more logical explanation. But how does that explain so many people remembering the exact same events with almost identical details? Thousands of people throughout the world have reported these Mandela effects, and this is partly why scientists consider the theory that parallel universes do exist. The nature of our reality shows that we are continually shifting, and you may be able to recognize some common experiences from your own life where you've actually made quantum jumps, often without even realizing it at the time. They are exhibited as an instantaneous change in things, and here are a few of the signs that your reality has shifted in some sort of way. You experience feelings of déjà vu. Your overall energy and the way you feel has changed by several levels in a quick way without much material-based reasoning. You might notice an inanimate object appear out of nowhere that you hadn't been able to locate for some time. Or something might not be where you are sure you put it, and you find it in a very odd or random place, or even find it in the place where you've already looked, where it wasn't there before. You notice something in your environment that you've never seen before just out of the blue, such as a new building that you can't recall being built. A few of these signs may seem very subtle, but they are indicators that you've made a shift and that the universe is winking at you to let you know it. All of these things are your mind and energetic field tuning into a parallel reality. Quantum fields can respond to our intentions, observation, actions, and overall state of being. Physics shows us that such things are within the realm of possibility and can occur. Quantum jumping is achievable when we use specific theories, and this means that every individual can exhibit quantum jumping behavior. Just as multitasking is the ability to deal with more than one task at a time, multidimensional awareness is the ability to be aware of more than one version of your multidimensional self while you're in the process of your daily physical life. If we were to apply the multitasking concept to our creative efforts, we would ultimately learn to expand our consciousness in such a way as to leap beyond our current reality and into another of our choosing. So how do we do this? The first thing to bring your awareness to is that you are not your body. You are what animates your body. Without you, the body's nothing. So sense and become acutely aware of the you that exists without your body, and realize that you and your body are actually separate things. The consciousness that inhabits your body is the true you. Your body is only a vehicle you use to experience physical reality. If your vehicle were, let's say, an actual car, the real you, your consciousness, would be operating that car and looking out the windows of that car and observing what is happening in that way. But you would not be the car. You would be the operator of that car. So from this vantage point, imagine yourself stepping one step backwards out of your personal vehicle. You can use your mind, with your eyes closed or open, whichever way works best for you, to consciously step backwards and then just view the vehicle or the body that you occupy. From this viewpoint, let's examine what this body does for you. It's a tool that allows the real you to experience sensory input. You can feel, see, taste, smell, and hear with this tool, and experience 3D reality because of this. Once again, if this vehicle were a car, would it be you that was operating that car, or would the car have the ability to operate on its own? Even if it could operate on its own, there would have to be a you to experience the results of what it was doing. So the vehicle is nothing without the operator, or the consciousness, that keeps it in operation. The vehicle and what it does only happens because of you. You don't need that vehicle to experience consciousness, but it needs you to complete its functions. If you have successfully stepped back to observe this vehicle with your consciousness, you are now able to watch this tool that you have to use, that you may have recently identified with as yourself. And maybe now you can see that that isn't who you are. You have an experience of living a certain life as that vehicle because of its sensory capabilities, but that is only the experience of that. What is having that experience is you, consciousness. That experience occurs through that vehicle. So now let's focus that consciousness elsewhere and examine a new experience. From your new vantage point, you now have two awarenesses. There is the real you, which is your consciousness, and there's the vehicle you travel in. And from the space of the real you, the one who has stepped out of the physical body, if you just turn slightly with your consciousness, you may be able to see how there are other vehicles that have some aspects that are very similar to your current vehicle that you could occupy. It's like stepping onto a car lot and seeing all of the different available options, except the vehicles are different versions of your body that you could operate. And those vehicles have different features. They may all look very similar, but many probably have some updated or upgraded settings. There might be a version that is thinner, or one that seems to display an air of luxury or abundance. There might be a version that indicates to you that it might be more adventurous, or one that gives you the vibration of more love and happiness. What you are looking for here is the body version of you that has what you desire to experience. So just use your consciousness to examine these different versions and then choose one that you would like to operate. Take your consciousness over to this new version of you and examine it for a moment. And then with your willpower, move your consciousness into occupying it, like taking a test drive. How does this vehicle feel when you step into it? What sensory input do you get from it? Can you feel an upgrade? Do you sense a new experience? If this experience isn't what you're looking for, try one of the other versions out. For a more in-depth process, I've created this as a powerful meditation that will enhance your multidimensional awareness. If you would like to preview or purchase this meditation, I have placed a link in the description. However, you can practice this exercise on your own, and by doing so daily, you begin to make your multidimensional awareness as normal as your 3D awareness. When you step back from your physical body with your consciousness, it expands into your 5th dimensional consciousness. And once your consciousness expands to that frequency, you can begin to read files, so to speak, that have been stored in your multidimensional mind. Those files include more options that are available, and you may be able to see how you can choose those options for your reality, especially from this vantage point. Just as you can only experience the internet when you're online with your device, you can only read your multidimensional mind when you are online with your consciousness via your multidimensional awareness. And once you're logged into your multidimensional self, you can experience parallel realities with much more ease. And the consciousness habits you develop will determine what is ordinary for you, as well as what is extraordinary.